Hey, what's going on, guys? Demboyz back here. And now that it's getting warmer out, some new homeowners or existing homeowners might be looking to get started or redo their front and backyard landscaping. As a first-time homebuyer, I will go over my experience, the whole landscaping process, some things I've learned, and some things I could have done better. First off, depending on your area, you will want to make sure you meet all the checks and approvals before and during your process. That way you can plan ahead with stuff like grading and planting trees. For instance, we had to plant a certain amount of trees and shrubs in order to meet our builder's community guidelines in order to get a rebate. The rebate is worth quite a lot and lessens the cost you will have to spend out of your own pocket. Basically, it's an incentive for you to get your landscaping done within a year of living in your house, so your house will blend in with the already existing established community. Another thing is to plan your grading fairly close to when you decide you want to lay your sod. Of course, with grading, you will have to wait for approval from a surveyor to make sure that you meet the requirements. For those of you who do not know what grading is, it is basically getting a fresh layer of soil and black earth so that your grass and plants will grow. Because if you have moved into a new house recently, the only grading will be a clay-like ground. Do not make the same mistake like us and get your grading done and then wait 2 to 3 months to lay the sod. Since the soil is very fertile, you will get a lot of weeds growing from the ground. Then you will have to spend a day like us digging up the weeds. So for the front, we went with a pattern on the ground that separated the grass from the plants and trees and rocks. For this, we used these types of pavers for the separation. One thing we could have done different here when laying the pavers is instead of digging into the ground to place the pavers, we should have gone with these no-dig plastic edging. How this works is you basically place how you want the edge to sit and then you'll spike it into the ground with the plastic stakes. So the pavers will lay it up against it and on the other side the grass will lay. The way we did it with the pavers, they lay a bit too low into the ground when everything is grown out. In terms of shrubs and trees in the front yard, we had to have a total of 10 to 12 shrubs and 1 tree. Depending on your builder's guidelines, your trees and shrubs will have to meet a certain base size and height. We decided to add these solar spikes just to break up the space between the shrubs, and they add a nice practical glow at night. When planting the shrubs, you want to lay this fabric beforehand on the ground. This fabric will basically discourage any weed growth that will grow through the earth and rocks. We have a walkout basement, so for one of the sides we had to build stairs because there is quite a slope going down to our backyard. I will go more in depth in another video how we built these stairs because this was quite an undertaking in itself. For the backyard, we had to have 2 trees and at least 1 shrub. We also decided to put these planter boxes here so Mel can have some herbs and vegetables throughout the summer. On the other side of the house, we will eventually add a tool shack and a rainwater barrel, but since there was a deadline to meet for our rebate, we just had to put down mulch in the fabric. Something I will say, if I had to do it again, I would use rock and stone instead of this mulch. Other than being cheaper than the stone and rocks, there's not much positives for using mulch. Some bad things are the mulch can actually poke and stab through your foot. Some of the smaller mulch pieces even got through to my sandals. So if you have kids and dogs running around in the backyard, they may get a mulch splinter in their foot and you wouldn't even know it because this stuff will blow around. For the sod, we used a total of 2 pallets of sod. Depending on who you use as your supplier, they will ask you the square footage of your yard, and then they can determine how many pallets you will need. When laying these pieces, you will want to stagger in a tile-like pattern, so there can be more intricate points at which the sod can merge and grow. For the edges, if you have rounded or tight areas where you need to fit in the rectangular sod pieces, you will need this short point flooring knife. This cuts easily through the sod and it is very easy and flexible to use. We also use this garden knife with the serrated knife edge. I found this was harder to use because there were times the serrated edge would catch a lot when cutting through the sod. With the flooring knife, it just glided through the sod. So that was it, guys. I'm happy to report we did pass our checks and we did get the rebate. which helped a lot with the purchase of all this stuff. All in all, we got this done in a span of all of last summer, so 3 to 4 months of really quite heavy work. But we did save a lot of money in labor by doing it ourselves. So if you're thinking about doing it yourself will save you a ton of money, and the experience of doing it yourself and seeing it all come together, at the end, you'll feel so accomplished. If you guys like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell notification for updates.